Thank you for participating in this experiment. You are now observing the game interface that you would be working with. The game is set in a wildlife park in Africa, where three forest rangers are patrolling 9 target cells in the park. In this interface, to the left, here where I am hovering my mouse, you will see per day patrol maps, that is the locations of 3 rangers who are protecting this park on each day of patrol, starting from day 1. So the ranger icons are these, and these other icons represent hippos. Different regions have different numbers of these animals. Some regions have more hippos, such as these, while some regions have very few hippos, such as these. You will be playing as a poacher who is trying to estimate the ranger's patrolling distribution by observing the ranger patrols for each day. You see here day 1. Once the game proceeds, as I'll explain, you will see day 2 map here. I'll explain more later as to what I mean by the ranger's actual patrolling distribution. So now to the right, here you see this big belief map with the exact same animal distribution as the patrol maps to your left. Based on your observation of the per day ranger patrols to the left, you would enter your best guess about the actual defender distribution in the belief map to your right here. In each cell, you should enter your belief about the percentage likelihood of a ranger being present. So for example, the first cell here has an initial value of 33, meaning that you believe that a ranger is present in this cell 33% of the time. So the actual defender distribution over all the targets could be something like what is shown on the map right now. That is, each of the top 6 cells has a 33% chance of a ranger being present, while the bottom 3 cells have a 34% chance of a ranger being present. However, this distribution may not be correct because these are just some initial values that we put and may not be the actual defender distribution. That is why you need to carefully observe the per day patrol maps to the left in order to infer the actual defender distribution and enter it on the belief map here. So for example, if you think that the percentage likelihood of a ranger being present in this top second cell is 50%, then you would enter a value of 50 here using the sliders or the plus minus buttons or the text boxes, whichever you want to use. That is, you are specifying that you believe, based on the first day of patrol that you see, that the percentage likelihood of a ranger being present in this cell is 50%. Similarly, you can modify your belief about the ranger's distribution for other cells as well. For example, I can reduce this. While entering your beliefs about the ranger distribution in each cell, remember that the sum of the values in all the cells should ideally be equal to your total budget of 300 as shown in the top right here, because there are 3 rangers in total and you are entering the percentage likelihood of a ranger being present in each cell. However, since it may be difficult to enter values in each of the 9 cells such that the sum of the values is exactly equal to 300, we allow you to enter values in each cell such that the sum lies between 290 and 310. The information about how further away you are from the actual desired sum of 300 is shown to your right in the second box here. So now I have entered values such that the sum is equal to 313. And so it shows here that I have exceeded my total budget by 13 units. And 313 is outside my allowable budget of 290 to 310. So let me decrease this for now. So now my current allocation is 309. So since 309 is within the allowable range of 290 to 310, you can proceed to the next day by clicking the next button if you believe that you have entered the correct values in all these 9 cells. However, if you enter values such that the sum is greater than 310 or less than 290 and click next, such as let's say now it is 312 as shown here, and if I click next now, you would see the following error message. Click OK and we will go back to the game. Once you are confident of your beliefs and you click the next button and your values are within the allowable range, your values will be saved and the game will proceed to the next day. So let me click next here. That is, you would now see the day 2 Ranger petrol map here to the left of your screen, and the previous day's petrol maps can be found below it if you scroll down here. So you are now in day 2 and you can see both day 2 and day 1 petrol maps. So now that you are in day 2, enter your belief here in this right map about the Ranger distribution based on not only the information that you had earlier, that is the day 1 petrol, but also based on the new information that you now observe, that is the day 2 petrol map. You can choose to modify your beliefs from the previous day, which is shown on the map right now, by changing in any of the cells, like this. So let's say I believe this for this particular cell, there is a high chance that a Ranger is present. So let me increase my belief here, let's say. And I increase it because probably in day 1 I saw that a Ranger was present here. In day 2 a Ranger was present here. So my belief that there is a Ranger here in this particular cell is very strong. So I increase it, let's say, to a high value. Similarly, I increase my belief about this particular cell to a high value. Now you can see here that your current allocation is 351, which is way greater than your allowable budget of 290 to 310. So I may think that in these particular cells there is less chance of a Ranger being present because I didn't see any Ranger on both the days in these particular cells. So let me decrease my belief that a Ranger is present in these particular cells. And now you can see that you are again with your within your allowable budget of 290 and 310. So now, once you are confident that this is what you believe is the actual fixed Rangers patrolling distribution, you can click next. So let me click next now. So now the game proceeds to day 3. And you can now see the day 3 petrol map here in addition to the day 1 and day 2 petrol maps, which can be viewed by scrolling down. Now, if your beliefs have changed based on the new map that you observe, that is the day 3 petrol map, in conjunction with the previous day petrol maps, that is all the 3 maps together, you can change your belief on this belief map right here. And then click next. The game will then proceed to day 4. If your beliefs have not changed or you forgot to change your beliefs and click next, let's say I click next now, remember that I have not changed my beliefs from what I had entered on day 2. So after observing day 3, I did not change anything on this map. And let's say I click next. It shows an error message here it is actually a warning message saying that you have not changed your beliefs from last round. Are you sure you want to continue? If your beliefs haven't really changed from one day to another, even after observing the new information, you can click OK. The game will proceed to the next day, that is day 4. However, if you had forgotten to change the beliefs and had accidentally clicked next, then you may click cancel here on this particular message. You would remain on the same day, that is day 3. So let me click cancel. See, you are still in day 3. So now you can enter your correct beliefs based on the observation that you received for day 3 as well as the previous days. So for example, let me increase my belief here, and then if I click next, the game will proceed to day 4. Now it is important to note that there is only one fixed distribution that the defender has, and the per day petrol maps that you would see one by one to the left of your screen here are simply several instances of that actual distribution. You are shown these instances so that you can more accurately predict the actual defender distribution. So for example, let's say that the actual ranger distribution around the park is as follows. Let's say it is 30% here, 50% here, 10% here, very high, let's say 70% in these cells, 50% here, 10% here, 10% here, and let's say 5% here. Or maybe let me decrease this to 5. Let's say this is the actual ranger distribution. However, you don't know this actual ranger distribution. What you observe is per day petrol maps of where the rangers are, and these maps are actually drawn from this distribution. So your job would be to observe all these petrol maps together and then infer this actual distribution. So it should be clear that you would have to predict this fixed actual defender distribution based on all the petrol maps that you see to the left here, and not just based on any one day of petrol. It is also very important to understand that your bonus compensation for each of the petrol days depends on how close your prediction about the ranger distribution that you enter on this map is to the actual ranger distribution, that is, let's say this one. I am repeating again, there is only one fixed ranger distribution that you are trying to predict, and the closer you are to that actual distribution, the more bonus you will get. So observe carefully the petrol maps for each day that appear to your left, and taking into account all the petrol maps together, enter your best prediction about the actual ranger distribution in this belief map here. Please go back to this video, to whichever portion you did not understand well, and listen to it again, because your understanding is crucial and will help you to better predict the actual ranger distribution and earn more bonus. Now that you have understood the game, you can click next on this instruction page. You will be taken to 2 different pages where you will be asked 2 questions about your understanding of the game. If you answer both the questions correctly, the game would begin. However, if you answer any one of the questions incorrectly, the experiment would end and you will not be allowed to play the game. However, you will still be paid your base compensation, that is your participation compensation of 50 cents. Thank you again. Good luck.